Before you continue watching, pause for a moment and think about something simple but surprisingly powerful. In this video, you're going to discover how a few honest questions can connect people from completely different parts of the world. A single video can become a meeting place where viewers from dozens of countries share their cultures and experiences. Sometimes all it takes is curiosity and a few thoughtful questions to turn an ordinary moment online into a global conversation. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you never miss more informative videos like this. Now, let me ask you something before you keep watching. It's a small question, but it can reveal a lot about where we come from. Right now, wherever you are in the world, where are you watching this video from? Maybe you're sitting comfortably at home after a long day. Maybe you're watching during a short break at work or school. Some of you might even be watching late at night when you finally have a few peaceful minutes to relax. Wherever you are, your location is part of this moment, and that's what makes this interesting. Videos like this are watched by people from many different countries. Someone might be watching from a busy city surrounded by tall buildings and crowded streets. Another viewer might be sitting in a small town where life moves a little slower. Others may be watching from places surrounded by mountains, forests, deserts, or oceans. Even though these environments are very different, all of those viewers are sharing the same moment right now. So take a second and tell us in the comments, which country are you watching from? When people start writing their countries in the comments, something fascinating begins to happen. The comment section turns into a small map. Someone from Germany might comment next to someone from India. A viewer in Canada might see a message from Brazil. People from Japan, Turkey, and Australia join in. In just a few minutes, dozens of different cultures appear in one place. People who may never meet in real life suddenly find themselves part of the same discussion. But let's take that idea a little further. Learning something about a country is even more meaningful. Every nation has something unique that people feel proud of. Sometimes it's the history of the country. Some places have ancient cities, historic landmarks, and traditions that go back hundreds of years. Other countries are known for their natural beauty. Some are famous for mountains that stretch across the horizon or forests filled with wildlife. Others are famous for coastlines where the ocean meets the land. These landscapes shape the culture and lifestyle. Food is another thing many countries are proud of. Traditional dishes often carry stories from the past. A simple meal can represent the history of a region, the ingredients of the land, and the creativity of its people. In many places, animals also hold special meaning, symbolizing strength, wisdom, or harmony with nature. But most important are the people. Their kindness and warmth make a country truly extraordinary. Friendly communities and hospitality are values that people all around the world appreciate. So, what is your country famous for? Is it the food, the landscapes, or the resilient character of its people? Every country has its own story, and together, they show how fascinating our world truly is. What makes this kind of exchange meaningful is that it encourages curiosity and lets us imagine life in distant places. A viewer in one region may learn about traditions and landscapes from a place they have never visited before, making the world feel connected. Traditional dishes carry deep cultural meaning. They reflect a region's history and recipes passed down through generations. Nature is another source of pride, with dramatic landscapes and diverse wildlife that become powerful national symbols. But most meaningful is the character of its people. A warm welcome and everyday kindness leave a lasting impression of home. When we read comments from viewers around the world, we feel a shared excitement that transcends borders. Seeing dozens of nations represented in one place reminds us just how big and wonderfully diverse our world really is. In just a few minutes, the comment section becomes a meeting place for cultures. Languages, traditions, and stories all appear side by side. Someone reading through the comments might discover something unexpected about another country, or realize that people far away share similar experiences and values. And that moment of realization can be surprisingly powerful. It shows that even though the world is large and full of differences, simple conversations can bring people together in ways we don't always expect. Curiosity, pride in one's homeland, and the desire to understand others are experiences that connect people across borders. When someone reads a comment from another country describing something they love about their home, it creates a small but meaningful sense of connection. This is one of the most interesting things about global conversations like this. A simple question can reveal how diverse the world is. while also showing how much people have in common. Someone from one country might talk about their mountains and forests, while someone from another might describe their beaches and islands. Yet both people are expressing the same pride and appreciation for the place they come from. For many viewers, moments like this also bring a feeling of excitement. Seeing comments from dozens of countries appear one after another can create a sense of energy and curiosity. It's almost like watching a map of the world come to life, with voices from different regions sharing their stories at the same time. When you scroll through those comments, you begin to notice patterns. Some people talk about the beauty of their landscapes. Others proudly describe their traditional foods or cultural festivals. Many mention the warmth and kindness of the people in their communities. Each answer reveals something different, but together, they create a larger picture of how people experience life in different parts of the world. At the same time, this kind of exchange encourages people to think more deeply about their own country. When someone asks what your homeland is famous for, it makes you pause and reflect. You may start thinking about things you normally take for granted. A city you pass through every day might actually be a place that travelers dream of visiting. A traditional dish that feels ordinary to you might be something unique that exists nowhere else. This reflection often leads to a stronger appreciation of the place where you live. It reminds people that every country carries its own history and identity. The customs, landscapes, and traditions that shape daily life are part of a much larger cultural story. Another interesting aspect of this conversation is how emotions can play a role in the experience. When viewers first hear these questions, where are you watching from? What is your country famous for? What makes your homeland special? It can trigger a sense of excitement or curiosity. Some people even feel their heart race slightly as they begin reading comments from around the world. That reaction happens because these questions invite people to participate rather than just watch. Instead of being passive viewers, people become part of a global conversation, exchanging small pieces of their identity. This shared space reminds us that every country carries its own unique identity. Whether it's the natural beauty of high mountain ranges or the vibrant energy of cultural festivals, or traditional meals that tell stories of history and climate, even animals hold deep meaning, symbolizing qualities like strength or harmony. These elements aren't just scenery, they are the spirit of a nation. When we share these stories, distance disappears. We realize that despite the miles, we share similar thoughts. This connection is what makes the world feel both exciting and meaningful. But beyond landscapes, culture, and symbols, one of the most important things people mention when describing their homeland is the character of the people themselves. Hospitality, kindness, and a strong sense of community are values that many countries proudly share. Travelers often remember the warmth of the people they meet more than any landmark or attraction. This is why questions like these can feel surprisingly powerful. They encourage people to reflect on what truly matters about the place they come from. When someone answers by describing their country's food, nature, wildlife, or friendly communities, they are sharing a part of their identity with others. At the same time, reading responses from viewers around the world creates an opportunity to learn something new. Someone might discover a tradition they had never heard of before. Another person might realize that a country they knew very little about has incredible landscapes or cultural practices. These small discoveries gradually build a sense of curiosity and respect between different cultures. Instead of seeing other nations as distant or unfamiliar, people begin to recognize the richness and diversity that exists across the world. And sometimes that simple curiosity leads to a deeper appreciation for how connected humanity really is. When people from many different countries begin sharing their thoughts in one place, the conversation slowly becomes more than just a collection of comments. It turns into a reflection of how diverse yet connected the world truly is. Every response reveals something unique about a nation, but at the same time, it highlights how similar human experiences can be across cultures. When someone proudly writes the name of their country, they are often thinking about much more than a geographical location. They may be remembering the places where they grew up, the streets they walked every day, or the traditions their families practiced for generations. A country is not just a place on a map. It is a combination of memories, culture, and shared experiences that shape the identity of the people who live there. Many viewers begin to notice that even though countries differ in language, climate, and traditions, the feelings people express are often very similar. Pride in one's homeland, appreciation for local traditions, and admiration for natural beauty are emotions that appear again and again. Someone from a coastal country may talk about the peaceful sound of ocean waves, while another person from a mountainous region might describe the calm strength of the mountains surrounding their home. Both are expressing the same sense of connection to the land they come from. Food continues to be one of the most common ways people describe their country. A traditional dish can instantly bring memories of family gatherings, celebrations, and cultural traditions. The ingredients, spices, and cooking techniques used in these meals often tell a story about the history of the region. For someone from another part of the world, learning about these foods can be a window into an entirely different culture. Nature also remains a powerful symbol of national identity. Some countries are famous for wide deserts or dense forests, while others are admired for rivers, lakes, or beautiful coastlines. These natural features influence not only the landscape, but also the way people live. Farmers, fishermen, and communities built around natural resources often develop traditions that reflect their environment. Animals, too, continue to play an important role in how countries represent themselves. Many nations have animals that symbolize the spirit of the country. These animals may represent courage, freedom, resilience, or wisdom. Over time, they become part of cultural stories and national imagery, appearing in flags, emblems, and works of art. But perhaps the most meaningful thing that viewers often mention is the kindness of the people who live in their country. Hospitality and friendliness are values that many cultures take great pride in. Visitors who travel to a new country often remember the warmth of the people they meet long after the trip ends. This focus on kindness reveals something important about human connections. While landscapes, food, and animals can represent a nation's identity, the character of its people often leaves the strongest impression. A friendly conversation, a helpful gesture, or a welcoming community can shape how someone remembers an entire country. As more viewers share their thoughts, the conversation becomes richer and more engaging. Each comment adds another perspective, another story, and another piece of the global picture. People begin reading responses not only from nearby countries, but also from places they may have never considered before. In that moment, the comment section becomes more than a simple list of messages. It becomes a place where cultures meet, where curiosity grows, and where people begin learning about the world through the experiences of others. Each response represents a country, a culture, and a personal perspective shaped by experiences that may be very different from our own. Yet as more people participate, a surprising pattern begins to appear. Despite all the differences in language, climate, traditions, and geography, many of the feelings people express are remarkably similar. One viewer might proudly mention the mountains that rise above their hometown, describing how those landscapes have always been part of their daily view. Another person might talk about the ocean that stretches endlessly beyond their coastline, explaining how the sea has influenced the culture and lifestyle. Someone else might describe forests filled with wildlife or rivers that pass through historic cities. Each place has its own natural beauty, and for the people who live there, those landscapes become symbols of home. But landscapes alone rarely define a country. The traditions that develop within those environments are equally important. Festivals, music, art, and local customs all contribute to the cultural identity of a nation. In many places, these traditions are passed down through generations, allowing communities to preserve their history while sharing it with the future. When someone describes a traditional celebration from their homeland, they are not just talking about an event, they are sharing a cultural story. Food is another element that appears frequently when people describe what makes their country special. Traditional dishes often reflect both the environment and the creativity of the people who live there. Ingredients that grow naturally in the region become part of recipes that are refined and shared over many years. When people talk about their national cuisine, they often speak with pride because those meals represent family gatherings, cultural heritage, and memories. For someone reading these comments from another country, learning about these foods can be an exciting experience. A dish that is completely ordinary in one place may sound fascinating and unfamiliar to someone who has never encountered it before. In this way, sharing food traditions becomes another way cultures connect and inspire curiosity. Many countries have animals that symbolize qualities their people admire, representing strength, courage, or harmony with nature. Over time, these creatures become part of how a country expresses its identity to the world. But beyond symbols, The true character of a country is found in its people, their kindness, hospitality, and sense of community. Visitors often remember the warmth of the people they meet just as much as the famous landmarks. A simple act of friendliness shows that the true identity of a nation lives in the everyday behavior of its citizens. In this global exchange, we discover that people thousands of miles away share similar traditions and values. So, where are you watching from? Tell us the name of your country and what makes it unique. Join the conversation and share your story.